My name's Dave Nelson, and my background is I worked for 30 years for TRW, about half of it in the plant and about half of it in the purchasing-related areas. After that, I went to Honda for 10 years and was Senior VP of Purchasing there, and I learned a whole new, different way of developing relationships because previous experience had all been traditional. And I want to share, just as an example, what we would set down with the suppliers and get as a handshake agreement from the beginning. I had the job of creating the automotive purchasing department, and in the first 6 months we went out and hired 250 students, and then we brought 62 Japanese from highly, deeply trained Japanese from Japan to teach them and mentor them on how to do their work. Then we selected 400 suppliers here in the U.S., or in North America, I should say, and 40 to 50 were strategic. And I'll talk about the relationship with these strategic suppliers and how it worked. I sat down with every one of the owners or the CEOs, and we had a discussion. And the first thing that we would agree on, or that I'd ask them to do in order to be a supplier, is have an open book relationship so that they were no internal secrets whatsoever in their finances or anything else with regards to their relationship with Honda. And the second thing is the buyers were all trained in cost management to know what the things they bought cost. And the supplier had to agree to sell those to Honda for what the buyers said they should cost. And that was different thinking entirely. The suppliers had to agree to allow us to send in our lean development supplier engineers. And in many instances, I'd say most instances, to change every machine on their shop floor and put it into the Toyota production system. And another thing was to agree that their product engineers would come and work with Honda product engineers, relentlessly focused on cost, particularly in the new model development time frame. And we had 42 desks for suppliers to come and do just that. And engineering and purchasing worked together as a team. Actually, the three did, together with the supplier engineer. And engineering and purchasing actually were in the same building, often in the same room. That was where they worked together. They worked together seamlessly, never pointing fingers at each other or any way, shape, or form, but all focused on the suppliers and the products that they were selling to us. Suppliers would agree specifically to work with us on new product development when there were new parts. The suppliers would agree to 100% quality, 100% delivery, and to achieve that if they weren't achieving it from the beginning. They had agreed to a formal meeting once a year with our senior management team, including our CEO, their CEO or owner, and this formal meeting would look at last year's goals and last year's results, this year's year-to-date goals and this year's year-to-date results, and the next 3 years' goals, to be sure that they, for example, were ramping up, going to have the capacity and the facilities to meet our growth needs. Honda had relentless ongoing training, and they came to our location, or we would go to their location, and we would have formal training, and they would agree to come to our annual supplier conference. And we'd have about 1,000 people there, and it was a real big conference, and we'd every year have John Glenn kick this thing off, for example. And the suppliers got about 100 awards, delivery quality special awards. But the interesting thing is what would happen in the next 5 days after that meeting. The top 4 people in the company, myself, head of operations, head of corporate communications, government relations, and our CEO, would get on 4 private airplanes and go out and give the awards to the people that really earned them, which was the people on the shop floor. And so we would, they'd stop production, and we'd have a 40-minute meeting, and it just built relationships like you cannot believe. This just is to give some idea of the type of relationship that takes place right from the beginning. It's a very different relationship. The suppliers would tell you that Honda is their most difficult supplier to do business with. But even that said, they would also say that they're the best customer to do business with.